This video covers benchmarking in Google Colab. The repo comes from here, github.com chai g kim LLama MMLU Pro. MMLU Pro is one of the LLM benchmarks. And you can substitute different benchmarks. We'll try to do so as we advance further into this meetup, and if we have volunteers that are willing to do this. And this is just a copy of this Jupyter notebook imported into Google Colab. So when it's imported into Google Colab, it looks like this. I signed up for a $9.95 Pro account, which I think it's $9.95, and it gives you the wrong place. It gives you the ability to pick a runtime type. So the default is CPU. You get free without paying $9.95 a T4 GPU, but it takes 20 minutes to run, and so shockingly, you get access to an A100 GPU. These are usually over $1 an hour in other vendors. I've never seen it this cheap. Anyway, so I'm going to run this as an A100, and we're just going to go through this. So this video will be short. I can't do a 20-minute video and just show a benchmark running. That's going to drive people crazy. Okay, so verifies that everything's running. It verifies that the A100 is running and we're in the right runtime. We have 90 gigs of RAM. Okay, so let's go through running this. So what this does is it actually downloads the code from this guy's repo and then installs all the requirements in this VM or container would be a better word. And so let's wait for 10 seconds. And then what it's going to do, it's going to run a server. It's going to download the LLama3 model, and then it's going to run the benchmark, and you'll get like 40% or 45%. I forgot what the exact was. And so I like this because it's replicatable. There's no setup required. We don't have user errors. Like it doesn't. Well, we'll have user errors, but we're not going to spend time trying to debug somebody else's setup. And so this is all ready to go. So the server ran. It's downloading the model now. So the longest wait is for the I/O, as you would make sense. And I like this because it's free. And so there are benchmarks that run MMLU on OpenAI. There's only one guy on YouTube that does that, but it costs money to do that. And so I don't think that's really wise. Like, we're not buying anything if you run a benchmark on OpenAI. I mean, they publish their own benchmarks, and if you replicate that, you're not going to be able to fine-tune ChatGPT models. Those are all private. And so it makes more sense to run smaller models like the ones that you can get on Hugging Face and then fine-tune them and verify that you get increases in benchmark scores. So that's something that you can put in your portfolio, and it's something that if you have wisdom on how to get better benchmarks that are public and indicate competitive positioning, that's something that if you have an intuition on not only how to do that, but how to adjust a fine-tuning strategy, that's something that's really valuable, right? And the other issue is all the companies have regressions. So even if you develop your own private small model, like SML, there's a model that's 135 million parameters called small model, SMOLMODE, put out by Hugging Face. It has like 3 different corpuses in it. And so even if you benchmark something like that, as you fine-tune it, you always have to do a regression. So it's typical that if you improve in some category, you'll decrease in another category. And so being able to adjust those hyperparameters, you have to have an intuition on how to do that. And that takes probably hundreds of hours to build that intuition, right? It's a evolving game where the longer you do it, the better off you'll be at it. And there's no substitute for experience. You can't just read a web page and expect to get proficient on that. Okay, so This is good. I'm just gonna wait for a little bit. Uh, can I stop the recording and restart it? Probably not. So we're gonna wait. What else? And let me think. So if we stick around long enough to where we can get AWS sponsorship, this is something that's valuable at AWS also, right? Showing them how to do the test harness, how to automate it, and what the cost is. And then that's something that if you have a cost associated with, that's something that you can tell a manager that, hey, this cost me $30 to run on and on, whatever that value is. That's something that he can go ahead and ask for to get for free or discounted. So if we get far enough, I'm going to ask Manning to get this for free, to be able to run the benchmarks on GPUs for free. I don't think you'll be able to do all the benchmarks on the A100. You're limited as to how many hours you get. I don't know how many hours I have left. Oh, I have to look. All right, so another 2 minutes, this will be done. Okay, I'm going to stop this early. I don't think it makes sense to continue.